Perkins, one of 3 returners for Villanova, but the only one with playing experience last year. Now Lewis tries the trifecta, rings transfer from Grand Canyon.
We've been able to see Virginia practice multiple times, and this is going to be a good basketball team.
Fans have been accustomed to in recent years. O-board, kick out Malik Thomas. Yes, sir.
He's got a lot of different ways to beat you. Every team has a lot of questions, but there are a lot of answers on this roster for UVA. Both teams are going to play aggressive man-to-man. Virginia will press a little bit more.
Steal, Jakari Lewis. 17. Malachi Palmer on the feed. This is another freshman point guard, number 0, Chris Jeffrey. Now Matt, just over 4 minutes in. Cavaliers with a 4-point lead. Exhibition matchup 10 days before the regular season starts. As Chris Jeffrey.
The athleticism of Jakari White. The transfer from North Dakota State in the passing lane. Finish on the other. Yeah, that says a lot right there, with considering that there was no production coming back from last year's team. 0.
Yep. End game with Onyenso. Perkins shadows him. Timer down to 9. Mallory on the flip back. Onyenso, who's never made a 3 a couple of springs ago.
2 years ago, it was a big lift for Tony Bennett's team.
Oh, my! Onyenso!
Springy!
Yes. Virginia's got a 4-point lead.
I think I nailed that one.
Yes, you did. Here's Palmer to the rack. And
yeah, he's clearly a man.
And a shooter, too. Like, he's a 39% 3-point shooter. Now Gertrude tries his luck. And here comes the press that we talked about. Steal for Gertrude. Tillis wide open. You bet!
Lift.
For UVA throughout the season. Gertrude on the pullback and the delivery. Shot clock at 10. Hall adjusting versus VCU. Palmer contact, no whistle on the 3. O-board, Perkins, Waits goes up and converts. CAA tournament. They were a top 25 team in 3-pointers attempted. They're going to shoot them here.
Yeah, they really are, and it's going to be a big part of everything. Here's that penetration that Coach Odom was so concerned about. This time Malachi Palmer getting all the way to the rim.
This evening, number 7 in white, transfer from VCU, coming along with Coach Odom, and now Carrere has a tray.
Penetration, kick out, catch, and shoot.
With Maryland, only scored 36 points in 22 games off the bench. Here is our weak percentage last season. Coming over from Toledo.
A lot of switching on the perimeter as well as inside.
Another 4-throw shooter a year ago. Both teams set to make more subs. And for Virginia, 18.5 points per game last season. But all the numbers are great. He shoots about 40% from 3, 53% from the field. 2 national championships in a 3-year span. Kapari the shake, the elevation.
Going to be trying to hurry the offense up, speed the offense up, force more turnovers, force the pace of play.
Villanova and its shoot-around worked against this a lot. Setting up a screen at midcourt, they do just that. The Antelopes against the Terps.
Obviously made an impression on Coach Willard.
And apparently, Duke is not shy to tell, or excuse me.
He's got such great experience out at BYU on really good basketball teams.
Jeffrey on the handoff. Brennan. He goes behind the back. Palmer picks up the loose change. Timer at 9. Reverse layup. Jeffrey got it. And one of those big things. Got to touch the paint. Maybe you'll get a hockey assist. On that time, it was an actual assist. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, the ACC Huddle crew will be at the University of Louisville to get you ready. DeRitter sets the screen, slips to the basket. Onyenso, another 3. Tried this.
Player development. Mark that down.
Okay. I'll jot it down. Brennan to the hole. Brennan the catch. Bodies up against the veteran Onyenso. Sidestep, triple, yes for Palmer.
Really nice.
The Wildcats. Turnover. Perkins galloping in transition, and another 2. Timeout Ryan Odom. Corner, quick ball movement, now Mallory. Hands it off for White. The shot clock is down to 5. Villanova's bench encouraged by the D. White!
Virginia has turned the ball over lately. They started out with a 6-2 advantage in turnovers. Now they have 8, and Villanova
so far. From Malachi Palmer, the transfer from Maryland. Now he's got the ball, and he takes a 3 and rips the goal. Villanova without Devin Askew, Zion Stanford, and no Bryce Lindsey tonight. Chance Mallory, a 3. It's not there. DeRitter on the seal. White, feed, Thomas, 3. Yes, sir! On the deck with White. Loose ball. Gertrude tries to track it down. He can't. Jeffrey goes airborne and uses. Perkins on the back down here with White. Feed in the corner. Wide open Jeffrey. 2 freshman point guards out there now with Lewis. Coughs it up. Thomas grooves his way into the paint.
game. What a good pickup for Ryan Odom. Here it is, the little step through and the contact.
To watch Proving Grounds, which is on YouTube, 3-part series. Yes, it's put together fantastically. First half, 10 different players played at least 8 minutes for UVA. As we talked about, the depth extremely vital for this. So refreshing to hear. Great chatting with both this week. Perkins feeds. Lewis lines up the 3.
Woo. You start listing all the great guards that have played in these 2 programs. You can go on for a while.
Grunlow attacking the. How talented these 2 guys are in the front court for UVA, and DeRitter and Grunlow both were projected by some to be second-round. Skilled and versatile bigs for the Hoos. Lewis worming his way to the free throw line. Guarding lineups from both these teams throughout the season, just based on who they're playing. Obviously, who's healthy, of course. Back cut that time from Hall doesn't work. Are focused on the ball. Shot clock at 5 here for UVA. White elevates over the contest. Hunter yanks down the board.
He did his work.
And he's against his fellow Belgian in Hodge. And DeRitter scores over him. And it was a very explosive North Dakota State offense he was a part of, yet it was a slow tempo. Imagine what a fast-paced offense like worked. Wearing number 6 in the corner for UVA. Steal and the bucket here for Jeffrey. Especially when they have another talented freshman point guard on the roster in Lewis, who was ESPN's number 31 recruit. How about Thomas hanging and scoring? Cavalier fans still get excited about defense, by the way. It's part of their DNA. Jeffrey into the paint, a little bit short, tip back, and tries to get it away. Jeffrey on the back down. Nearly turns it over through a crowd. It's Hodge. Dell was a star player there at ODU, 2-time CAA Player of the Year. Gertrude gallops to the rim. 2 more free throws. And now Gertrude at the line. Elijah, the redshirt sophomore, at 6'4". On ACC Network, and this week, the evening 2. We start at noon Eastern with volleyball. Number 5 Stanford squares off against Georgia Tech. And it's
back-to-back wins over the Hokies.
Yes. Late shot clock situation. Hot. Virginia winning the battle on the glass by 6. Nova off the giveaway. Jeffrey. Yeah, right. Malik Thomas, 20 per game. Sam Lewis, 16 per game last year. Jakari White, 17. All these guys are not going to average those amount from the field. They have forced 9 Villanova turnovers, 11 for the Hoos. White on the trampoline. And Lewis waiting to check in at the next whistle for Nova. On Yenso fakes, finds an open player underneath. DeRitter, lots of. So DeRitter to the stripe. Here, fresh off their upset against number 2 Miami, 19th ranked Louisville hosting Boston College at 7:30 Eastern. All 3 games available on the all-new ESPN. Well, as we continue to introduce you to some of the newcomers.
Georgia to come to Villanova. And you start listing the guards from Villanova: Brunson, Lowry, Archie Adak.
Fans would love to have those household names, you know, kind of come back, right? Some of these players stick around, enjoy their time at UVA, have some postseason success. Jenkins buzzer beater, 2018, Hart, Brunson, All those guys, Bridges, and then Virginia a year later.
Oh, yeah, and Hall of Famers like Terry Howland and Tony Bennett and Ollie Massimino and Jay Wright. You know, this is
a tournament 4 times in that stretch. Hall trying to create his own. DeRitter.
Back to having success or not having success, and how will their reaction help them go forward?
This to orchestrate. We hit the 9-minute mark here in half number 2. Villanova trailing by 7. Lewis uses the right hand this time. Important Virginia native, about 100 miles northeast of Charlottesville. Back cut, Hodge, layup, good and 1. Points, 3 for 5. A few rebounds in 20 minutes of action. Again, did not play the entirety of last November as he made the transition from Belgium to the U.S. a few years ago. He played his high school ball in Belmar, New Jersey. Something was just a bit off.
Played through the contact. That's going to be his challenge. The back cut through contact. Influence on the American game.
Johan played in the Bundesliga with SC Rostavecta. He was teammates with former Virginia. 8 to play. Jeffrey feeds. Malachi Palmer has been a bit quiet here.
Gertrude with a little hand on that shot from the corner.
Thomas weaving into the paint. Villanova in transition.
Guard play has gotten really physical.
Lewis dicing him up and scoring. With 6.5 to play in this exhibition. It's been a fun one here. Virginia up by a couple of possessions. Perkins trying to cut into that. Sure. What's his biggest challenge this year?
I think just finding the right combinations. You know, front stage right now, but goodness gracious, this is what a great way to tip off basketball. There's been a buzz about this team. And there's actually a buzz about the ACC being much improved.
Well, a season ago, there was only one team that advanced outside the round of 64 as Palmer glides to the rim. All right, Dallin Hall with the keys to the offense. Here's Grunlow, 10-6 tonight. 3-ball Thomas. It seems like he's automatic.
You've got some answers.
Another foul called on UVA, and again, here's Tyler Perkins at the line. Kind of Villanova's 6th man last year. Nova 9-1 when he scored 10 or more points. Kevin Willard coming over after 3 seasons at Maryland. Made the Sweet 16 last year. The offensive rebound, kick out Hall. His 3 is up, no good there. O-board, and it's in the hands of Thomas. And we've talked about the unselfishness that is required from UVA. And Mac, we get the feeling from being throughout your career, Auburn, Chattanooga, ECU, like, how do you make sure the whole team understands?
And appreciating the legacy of this Virginia basketball program, too.
Yeah, if you watch the proving.
I think they've had a successful evening.
What do you think Dave's thinking tonight?
Oh, they'll have a discussion later. You know they will.
Caden Lewis, another floater, touches off the rim.
Knows motivation, recruiting, but he's really good at all the other stuff too.
DeRitter banging down low, but some have tested DeRitter as a top 5 player in the ACC.
I think he very.
Under 2 minutes to go now. Villanova down by 3 possessions. Perkins, another back down and a floater. Until his senior year of high school, started his career at Penn. Women's sports take BYU prior to this year. Career highs, 9 points per game, 5 assists. Are you out?
I think I'm out.
You think you're out? Okay.
I think I'm out.
And Ryder on November 3rd. I'll have it for you on ACC Network Extra. Villanova.
That's getting messed up.
Exactly. Hall with 1 second on the timer. Gets it off too late. Caden Lewis. Dashing right to the cup. Floor here. And a turnover. Perkins. Handoff. Layup. Good. Make it a 2-possession game.
Think
Mallory
about what's
connects.
going through.
Gets himself free, a 3, it rims out. Hodge yanks down the board, goes up and scores. 10-point. Virginia will counter here with short rebound. White, clock expires. Excitement aplenty here from JPJ.
We learned a lot tonight, and these coaches learned.